Hi, how you doing? My name is Jason with Making Music Magazine, and today we're going to talk about rhythm guitar. So first off, when we're talking about rhythm, the guitar can be thought of in a lot of different ways. I think the most common is probably lead and rhythm. So when you're thinking of your guitar as a rhythm instrument, you want to think like a drummer. So what I would suggest is if you want to get better at playing rhythm is when you listen to your favorite music, like your favorite bands or whatever, listen to the drummer and see what the drummer is doing. Listen to his fills, listen to his basic beat, and listen to where he puts the bass drum, where he puts the snare drum, and all that different stuff, because that can translate right over to your guitar. Let's talk about some rhythm fundamentals. First of all, we have the basic beat. That's what you tap your foot to when you're listening to a song. So let's put numbers to that, and we're going to count. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's a pretty basic, what we call a 4/4 beat, because there are 4 beats in that measure. So it's basically we have a bunch of little rhythmic cells. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 starts over again. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically the building blocks of music in rhythm, is that beat. So now there's other ways to subdivide that beat because it occurs in time. So it's the same way that you can break up like an hour into 2 half hours, half an hour into 2 15-minute blocks, or an hour can also be 4 15-minute blocks or whatever. So the difference with music is that we can set the tempo, we can set how fast the clock ticks. So let's start to do that. Let's try that out. So let's do it. Let's go 1, 2. For right now, we're just going to play on the first beat of every measure. So you'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to go 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's called a whole note because it takes the whole measure to complete. So now let's do it on beats 1 and 3, and that's going to be half notes. There's 2 half notes in each whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All downstrokes for right now. Then we get to what we call the quarter note, because a quarter is a half of a half, and half is a half of a whole. So now that means we're going to be on our basic beat, because we're going to be breaking it up even more. So now we're on each one of those beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still all downs. Now let's break it up one more time, and now we're going to get eighth notes. I guess you could. I would advise against it. You could play all your eighth notes as downs, but as guitar players, we're kind of lazy. So we want to do as little work as possible and get the effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of the fact that our arm has to come back up again, right? Why not just connect it? So now we need to put, to speak what we're talking about, to say, to count it, I guess is what I'm saying. To count it, we have to put something in between all those numbers. So we need an and. 1, and 2, and 3, and. Every time you say and, your hand's going to come up, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And that's it. That's 95% of playing rhythm guitar is your arm is never going to stop doing that. It's not always going to contact. You're not always going to play all those notes. Sometimes you will, a lot of times you won't. But it's important to know that that is the basic motion. Up and down and up and down. And wherever those beats happen to land that you're trying to accent in your rhythm, they're going to occur either on the downbeat or the upbeat. So going back to thinking like a drummer, let's pull apart the most basic drum beat that everybody knows. You go to the ball game and they put on Queen, We're Gonna Rock You. And what's that beat? But it's... So let's break our guitar up into those two things. Let's figure out what the elements are first. We have a bass drum, we have a snare drum. Bass drum, snare drum. Bass drum, snare drum, bass drum, snare drum, right? So now let's look at our guitar and see if, it doesn't really look like a drum set, but you have to use your imagination. Here on the top, or I should say the bottom, we have bass strings, right? They're lower than these strings. These strings are the high strings. So we could say that this is your bass drum and this is your snare drum. It helps as a rhythm guitar player to be able to break up the sounds of your instrument, because it can get pretty monotonous if you're just going. Sounds kind of like a death march, right? So if you were to break it up a little bit and give it some life. Hear the contrast? Contrast is key. So let's try that out. So what you need to do here is be able to separate your instrument. This is a pretty basic beat. If you were to count it, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 2, beats 1 and 2 occur on the lower half of your guitar, and beats 2 and 4 happen on the top. 1, 2, let me think of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So beats 1 and 2 occur on the bass, and beat 3 occurs on the snare drum. So that's something to practice, because we're pretty used to just strumming the whole thing. So let's try that out one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That sounds pretty basic, but that's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's the foundation. So for a lot of kind of folk rock tunes and acoustic music and stuff, that's going to be what you always want there. That is the element of the music that you want to accentuate with the rest of the stuff. If you get fancy and you start neglecting that, then you're not performing your duties as a rhythm guitarist. So there's ways to dress it up. So there's like... So that was using eighth notes, and that's using the idea that we talked about earlier of just ups and downs. So always keeping, if you notice when I did that, especially this part of my arm, is always going up and down. So let's try and count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 1, 2. You can see how the basic elements are still there, but I'm adding in little other elements. So just experiment, see what you can do with it. And another thing to talk about is to try and just keep loose. A lot of people will tense up a lot because I think they're focusing too much on what the wrist is doing. You know, try and feel where the rest of the motion is coming from. It actually starts down here in your back and it goes all the way up because all the muscles are connected. So if you can just try and keep your wrist loose like you're shaking water off it, and keep the rest of your arm, let your arm rest on the guitar, because if you start, you know, playing gigs and you're tired in the first 3 songs or something, you know, you're in trouble. So yeah, just experiment, see what you can do with it, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.